Welcome back to Reading Bear. Today, we will take a look at some new entitled parent stories. And if you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comments. Let's go!
The next one is titled, My Colleague Who's an M Demands to Know How Much Raise I Got. When told it's none of her business, she loses her crap. This colleague of mine, let's just call her Karen to keep it simple, is 20 years older than me and has 2 kids. We pretty much started at the same time at our current workplace. I only had a few months advantage. But because the kind of field I've been working, I had some special knowledge at the time, and just after a few months I've had to teach some new colleagues, including Karen. Everyone who I taught became independent after a while. Everyone but Karen. She was always dealing with her family at working hours, talking on her phone with schoolteachers, her mother-in-law, her mother, her kids, her husband, her sisters, pediatricians, sometimes pharmacists, and so on. Depending on the issue currently on hand. Most of the time she called her kids for banal things: start the washing machine, open the window in your room, eat, drink, take your medicine, do your homework, etc. The oldest of her kids is 13 years old, by the way. My family and my children are more important than this, she used to say, referring to our job. The point is that she was on her phone a lot. And because of this she worked very slow and made many mistakes, and had a hard time see through big projects. Haven't even really paid any attention, I think, because she knew I would always help her. And I did, because she was my partner. We work in pairs in this workplace. Because of her attitude, our immediate boss always handed me the harder, more complicated works with greater responsibility. Many times, I was forced to work overtime. When work has accumulated, Karen always said, I can't stay, I have 2 kids, and left. Always. Not once would she stay and help. This year around spring there was an amendment of the law which made it possible that age do not determine the level of salary but rather abilities and skills. Basically, it lets the immediate bosses to decide the salary and paid leave days, and not age and number of children are authoritative as before. So, when the amendment came into force, our boss summoned all of us one by one and told everyone in private how the person's salary and leave days would change and why. We have been told that this information is private and is forbidden to share and discuss between colleagues. So, my boss told me that he knows I work very hard and much more than my older partner, so I would deserve her salary, but unfortunately, he can't raise that much, due to the budget. So, he gave me a 50% raise and 5 more paid leave days. I was unspeakably happy. That was way more than I expected. I went back to my office and continued my work. Karen was the last one summoned in. I saw that she already sitting on needles. When she came back, she was fuming. That's it. I'm gonna find a new job, she said. Why, what's happened? I asked. I haven't got any raise. And my paid leave days will decrease. They can't take away my leave days, I have 2 children. The truth is that basic leave days could drop due to leadership decision, but mothers still got extra days per child. I tried to stop her. Karen, we really should not discuss this, we were told it is forbidden to share. She stormed out of our office. After half an hour she returned, still angry. Susan, other colleague, has 2 kids, also got her days decreased. Her basic is now lower than Janet, also a colleague, has no kids. I tried to reason. Susan works only 6 hours a day. And Janet takes all the big projects. But Janet has no children. No family. Why would she get more days? I bet she got a raise too. Karen, that's the point. Abilities and skills matter more than the number of children from now on. Besides, we're not allowed to discuss this matter. If you're unhappy with the decisions, then you should talk to our boss. They don't appreciate me. You have no children either. How much raise have you got? None of your business, Karen. I kept my cool, and maybe that's what pissed her off the most. She immediately demanded our boss to let her change her seat because she doesn't want to sit and work next to me anymore. He didn't allow it. Karen still sits and sometimes works next to me. A little satisfaction that our salaries converged. The first one is entitled Mother Wants Me to Let Her Kid Take a Ride Around the Park in My Wheelchair. My mum and I had some paperwork to review, and with a short break in the cold weather we decided to take my kid and dog to the park with a picnic to do it so my daughter can play and not disturb us. For reference, it matters later, I am a wheelchair user and my mum uses a walker to get around. We get to the park and the first thing my dog does is poop, so I pick it up and my mum walks the poop to the trash can while I get our stuff and go set us up at a table by the playground. My kid has already made a mad dash for the slides at this point. The tables at the park aren't super easy to sit at in a wheelchair, so I transfer over to the bench seat, without locking my chair's wheels, and start unpacking our stuff. While I was unpacking our stuff, a little girl, maybe 5 years old, comes up and without saying a word walks off with my wheelchair. I didn't see her right away, so she got away off before I tried to call her back and got no response. I look around for a parent and see no one else at the park. Weird. No biggie though, the little girl is headed in the same direction my mum is walking back from. I signal my mum, who sees what's going on. My mum approaches the little girl and leans down to her level. My mum, sweetie, this is my daughter's wheelchair, and she needs it, let's turn around and walk it back to her, okay? K, nice kid, okay. Suddenly, out of seemingly nowhere, this lady comes screaming across the park with a half-naked baby in her arms. Entitled mother, get away from my child. Leave her alone. K, get away from that man. To be fair, my mum's clothes and hair today made her easily mistakable for being a kind of raggedy-looking old man. Love you mum lol. Gets closer and sees that my mum is just an old lady, and once my mum explains what's going on, apologizes profusely and walks back to our table with them. Then has her daughter apologize to me for taking my chair. Cool, all good. At this point my daughter, about the same age as Kay, had returned to the table to see who the little girl was and what was going on. The kids start talking and asks us if we can keep an eye on her kid for a few minutes because her baby just had a major poop blowout, explains why she was running a half-naked kid and she was trying to get him cleaned up and changed in the car. We agree, every mum has been there, and returns to her car. The girls hung out at the far end of our table and start chatting. Kay had apparently never seen a wheelchair before and had a ton of questions about how it worked, what it was for, how fast it went, etc. My daughter fielded most of the questions and showed her how she could ride it while I got on with my mum, and then the girls took off to play. Comes back a few minutes later. She asks to join us, but we decline, explaining that we are working on personal paperwork and that my mum has cancer, so we are really serious about social distancing. Goes and sits down at a table near us and gets on her phone. The girls come back, and my daughter grabs a snack and a drink out of the cooler. Can my daughter have some too? We didn't bring anything with us. Me, sure. I was about to tell my daughter to offer anyways, so I give her kid a pack of goldfish, a string cheese, half a cut-up apple and a Capri Sun, pretty much a whole lunch as far as I'm concerned. The girls sat and ate quietly, talking amongst themselves, then played with the dog before returning to the playground. I sat and made small talk with while my mum and I ate our lunches. At this point I was pretty stoked. Seemed nice and our girls got along amazingly well. I don't have many friends, much less a mum friend with a kid my daughter's age. I thought I had maybe just made a new set of mommies and me type friends who probably lived nearby since we were all at the same park. I thought these were people who we could maybe make plans to meet up with again in the future. After a little bit the girls come over and my daughter comes to check in with me while the other girl goes to check in with her mum. I hear the little girl talking about wheelchairs and the dog, what she learned about both of them. Kay, to her mum, I want to ride hers around the whole park, referring to my wheelchair. Hold on sweetie. Then she answers a call and starts a maybe 10 to 15 minute conversation. Kay walks over to me, can I ride your wheelchair around the whole park with the dog? Referring to a little circular path that goes around the playground. Me, no, I'm sorry but I don't like other people to ride my wheelchair that far away from me in case I need it and the dog is old and needs to rest. But I don't mind if you want to sit in it and ride it right here, referring to the small strip of cement at the end of the table. Shed never be out of arm's reach between me and my mum, so you can see what it's like and how it works. Would that be good? Kay, yes please. Did I mention this little girl had the politest and just plain sweet demeanor, so she gets on my chair and I instruct her about what to do. She goes forward and backwards a few times, pulls back up next to me and gets down seemingly content with her experience. I pull my chair closer and lock the wheels. Me, was that fun? What did you think? Kay nods her head. It's big by this point. My daughter had drug out a sticker scene book to show her new friend. The girls go back down to the other end of the table and start working on making an Elsa sticker scene. M gets off the phone and walks over. M, how's everyone doing over here? Us, good. M, now holding the back handles of my chair. Hey, I can't get this thing to move. How do I push it? Me, the wheels are locked. M, oh, how do I unlock them? Kay wants to take a ride around the park. Me, I told her I wasn't comfortable with that, but she did get to hop on for a minute to see what it was like. I didn't know if she'd seen her on it or not, and she thought that was pretty cool. M, it's not really that far and I'll be with her the whole time. Me, I'm still not comfortable with it. My chair is kind of an extension of myself, you know. Now, at this point I'm kind of getting annoyed cause it feels like it's gone from innocent request to being kind of pushy and disrespectful. I don't mind a kid super interested in my chair, but it's weird to have another adult touching it and wanting to leave with it. M, I'll just take her really quick while looking around the chair and touching, pushing, pulling on little parts, presumably to unlock it. Me, no. I just can't do it. It is too stressful for me. M, you literally just let her have a ride. What's the big deal? She's just a kid. Me, I just can't do it. Can you please not touch my chair? I have everything set up the way I like it. M, to her daughter, Kay, get over here. We're leaving. Kay starts crying because she was having fun with her new friend and didn't want to leave. She tried to protest leaving and plead to stay and play. M, no, we aren't going to stay where we are obviously not welcome. Sometimes you meet people, and they seem nice, but they wind up being not nice people at all. She said this in a way like she was talking exclusively to her daughter but being loud enough to make sure we heard. It's time to go. Kay keeps crying but quiets down to more of an ongoing whimper and stops all arguments. M, now my daughter is crying. Thanks. What a great day we are having at the park. You're not even using it, but whatever, I guess you'd rather upset a kid to tears rather than share anything. Your daughter probably doesn't have any friends because of you. You're not even fit to be a parent. Cripples shouldn't be allowed to have children. I am going to call CPS and tell them about Tour fake service dog. Yes, she used air quotes, and have you arrested. There's so much to unpack there. Like, why would you call CPS to report a dog for any reason, much less a dog no one ever claimed to be a service dog? Why was she even talking about a service dog? At no point had anyone said anything about the employment status of my dog Lol, who is 100% a big lovable idiot, and in no way a service dog. Also, what the hell did she think I could be arrested for? I don't even respond. I just explained to my kid that her new friend has to go home right now and that it's probably time for us to get going anyhow, so she should start packing up her stuff. The baby, who is strapped to M's chest in a carrier sling thing, is now crying, presumably because his mum had just been shrieking at me and was moving around erratically. M then grabs one of the handles of my wheelchair. I'm guessing she was trying to throw it or knock it over or something. I don't know, she moved it maybe a foot or two, the brakes were still on, before her hand slipped off one handle and knocked hella hard into the hard plastic handle on the other side of the chair. She jerked her hand back super quick and made a face, so I assume it must have hurt at least a bit. She then turned towards her car, grabbing Kay pretty hard by the arm and started to drag her kid away. On her way past my mum's walker, she kicked it and sent it flying past my dog into the grass. It's a super lightweight walker, so it easily went pretty far. My dog, who is on a leash tied to the table and who remained laying down, starts barking because of the commotion. M, have fun getting your crap. You are ducking losers. You're a drain on society. You should go kill yourselves. I hope your witch mum dies of COVID. Crippled ass witch. God made you a cripple because you're a piece of crap person. Get your ducking visicous dog away from my child. She was nowhere near her child and they were already walking away, and my dog was still laying down. I will ducking kill your dog if you don't restrain it. I am gonna call the cops. You have a vicious animal. You better run, witch. Oh wait, you can't. Ha ha. There was some other stuff too, but the farther away she got the less I could understand what she was saying. I didn't really care what she was carrying on about anyways, I got the gist of it. From what I could understand though, I think she was yelling political, religious, and disability insulting crap at us, the entire way back to her car, which was a pretty decent distance from the tables. At one point I did hear her yell NGGRS at us extra loud and extra long while shaking her fist in the air, kind of weird especially since we are all Caucasian. Some homeless dude got up from his camp and came over and grabbed my mum's walker for her before we even had a chance to get up to get it. He was older and tall, he had a shaggy beard and long matted hair, dirty clothes, etc., just a typical homeless looking dude. Homeless dude looks over at M loading up the kids in the car and points out that you can't help crazy and then asks us if we have any food or change we can spare. We gave him the rest of our packed lunch stuffs and a few bucks. He stayed for a second to repack the food, to make it easier to carry, made small talk, and to ask if we needed any help getting ourselves and our stuff back to the car. We declined and thanked him for his help again. While he was turning around to leave, M pulls up curbside kind of close to where we are sitting and rolls her passenger side window down. M, you're what's wrong with America? You too loser, referring to homeless dude. HES probably a kitty fiddler. OMG, you brought your child to the park to be assaulted. You sick duck. I am calling CPS and the cops and I am gonna make sure you never see your daughter again. I'll call the FBI if I have to. At this point I realized that this lady was filming this entire interaction on her cell phone, or at least was holding up her phone like she was. I have no clue how she thinks such a recording would be useful to her, but whatever. She then threw her car in park, and suddenly the remnants of a McDonald's strawberry milkshake come flying out the window of her car and splatters all over the grass and sidewalk between us. We were close to the curb, but not so close that it would be reasonable to think you could hit us with a milkshake from that distance. M, ducking child lovers. You were probably trying to steal my daughter for sicko stuff. You'll pay for this. Watch your back, you a ducking cripple. We don't allow people like you here. You're going to jail too, pervert, towards homeless dude. I know who you are. She then turns her stereo up full blast, poor kids, that can't be good for little eardrums, throws her car into drive, flips us off, and the floors it down the street, wheels screeching as she takes off. Kind of funny cause there was a stop sign not but a few car lengths up, so she had to screech to a halt as soon as she had built up speed from launching off in a frenzy. We all had a good laugh about it while making our way back to our car. I had to field some questions about mental health from my daughter, who's never seen an adult act that way and was accordingly hella confused and a little scared. I didn't think it was appropriate to explain the effects methamphetamine can have on a person's behavior, but I'm pretty sure something like that was a factor in all this. In case you're concerned, we've been chilling all afternoon and now into the evening, and we have not heard from any government agency regarding the revocation of my parental rights, my vicious dog, or pending child molestation charges. Lol. Also, if you're wondering why I didn't stand up for myself, it's because I didn't want my daughter to see me be confrontational or mean to someone. I just explained that some people have mental health issues and it's best to be as kind as possible to them. I don't really do conflict well anyways, I'm pretty easygoing. This is ironic cause a couple days ago I made a post on Reddit about how parents often handle boundaries of disabled people and the whole disability issue less graciously than kids. This doesn't exactly make the point I was making, but the timing is funny. It's been a while since a random kid has come up and asked about my chair. The next one is entitled Mum confronts me for have the audacity to buy our house when her son wanted it. Brief backstory, back in March I, 25F, and my partner, 27M, bought a house. Big deal for us, and we're so glad we managed to pull this off, especially right before the pandemic got bad. It's a livable fixer-upper. The lady that lived here bought it in '67 and was the only owner before us, and she made no updates in that time, lol. It keeps us busy and that's worked out really well being home so often. Now to the event with M. In May my big project was pulling out some nasty bushes that had taken over a huge chunk of the front side yard. It was hot. I was sweaty. I'm digging out roots and throwing branches. As I'm right up front and making a pretty drastic change to the yard, people notice. Most neighbors stop by, say a quick hello from the car, and drive away. But not M. M pulls up in a shiny black Suburban from the opposite side of the road, parks the wrong way, and rolls down her window. I'd say she's in her 50 to 60s. Grey, white bob cut hair. I stand up and pause my music. The following conversation isn't exact, but pretty close, as this conversation was just so entitled. M: Hey. Did you buy this house? Me: Yep. Just moved in last month. M: Did you know the family? Me: That sold it? Not really, we just got lucky they chose us, I guess, haha, trying to be nice, but kind of off-put. She's asked none of the typical neighbor questions. We made a great offer. M: Yeah. My son really wanted this house. He grew up in this neighborhood, you know. Me: Oh, darn. Yeah, houses move fast right now. M: He spent his whole life in this area. He really deserved to stay in the neighborhood, you know. Me: Yeah. That's too bad. Major WTF feelings now. M: How much did you offer? Me: Not about to tell her details, over asking price, we were proactive, haha. M: Well, my son really wanted that house. Me: Feeling quite awkward with this whole situation, and just looking to shoo this lady along. Yeah, well, I'm sure more houses will go up for sale around here. M: Well, that doesn't help him now, does it? He had his heart set on that house. I just exaggeratedly shrug and decide to resume my route, cutting to try and give her the message. M: You're probably flipping it. He would have loved it. Me: No, we're not. We are staying long term. M: Yeah, right. She doesn't leave. I'm wondering if I should go inside or something. She just keeps looking at me, expecting me to say something. I keep cutting at a route. M: Is it just you, or did your family help you get it? Me, getting pretty short in tone, my partner and I bought it together. M: My grandkids would have loved the yard. A loved yard makes a house a home, you know. Me, not looking up, well. My dogs will love it, especially once I'm done. M: Seriously? I just scoff. Pull my route out, throw it on the pile. I feel her eyes watching me. Me, really ready to be done, well. Have a good day. Then, with a last glare and an she speeds off, leaving a quite annoyed and bewildered me in my dirty glory, mulling over what the heck just happened. Did this freaking lady just try to guilt trip me because we bought a house her son wanted? Indeed, apparently. WTF. Definitely the most welcoming interaction I have had since we've moved in. And I have not seen her since.